end of day 8 of the start of week 2. And we've had a time change, which kind of does throw me off. Even though this is the time change that everybody loves, I just feel very sleepy before I need to in the evening, but I have to stay awake because my husband's car is out of commission, so I have to pick him up from work and he's working late. So I have been sitting here, and guess what I normally would have been doing to stay awake? Probably watching YouTube videos or something that would have kept my brain very stimulated. But that was not an option. So I ended up doing some of my journaling. That kind of helps, writing and not having to just keep everything up in my head. And we had our group meeting today, and one of us is staying off of the news. Another is mostly focusing on adding the sustainable type of dopamine, the human connectiveness and things like that. So it's been really nice to interact with other people that are at the exact same stage as me in this process, and hearing what they're going through and how they're feeling, and also just knowing that you're not doing it alone. So that is my recap of this day, and let's see what tomorrow brings. Prayer walk on day 9, and a very different schedule and routine today. We've been talking about that in our group, and how sometimes a routine is very beneficial and needed, and sometimes we have to change it up, shake it up, be willing to do something different. And for me, the one disruptor of my routine that is always very easy for me to allow is a conversation with a person, a family member, a friend, whoever ends up in my day. And thankfully, we have those happy disruptions to a routine, because I feel like that's what life is all about. But again, it has to do with what your aim is and what your goal is. And some of the routines that we do create such a positive mindset and framework for how we think and move in this world. And I think that those routines we should hold on to, with, the obvious grace when it doesn't work because of different reasons. But starting days off in very haphazard ways usually leads to pretty haphazard lives. And so that combination of having a routine, habits that are healthy and lead us in a positive direction, and the willingness to ebb and flow when needed, so that we can do the things that are most high value. And I think that's a beautiful, kind of harmonious way to live. So I still have more of my prayer time and things like that, but we had a little change in speed this morning with conversations, and extremely powerful conversations. I told you this is my dopamine detox, but it's really an awe and wonder experiment So the more things that you take away that were distractions, the more that you appreciate so many things that maybe you missed, or maybe it just opens you up to more possibilities. So definitely a rewarding experience. I am done with most of my work for today. I have Bible study in a little while, and I decided to come out here and read a little bit. Amazing book, very real testimonials, just really good perspective, and highly, highly recommend. And wrapping up the end of, what day is it? 8, 9, 10, 11. Day 11. It is flying by. Just arriving at the location for my church retreat, and they upgraded me to that. How amazing and beautiful and blessed. That is amazing, gorgeous. Just finished an evening at the church retreat, and it was wonderful. And now I'm just going to read a little bit of my Bible, and I will see you guys in the morning. Wrapping up week 2 of Dopamine Detox. 14 days in, 2 more weeks to go. It has been a very good 2 weeks. This last week there were a lot of similarities to the first week, as far as, the quiet. Sometimes you want to fill that space. I did spend more time talking to God. I did talk to friends. I made it a point of having conversations with people. Currently, as you know, probably from the other video clips, I'm on a church retreat. Beautiful location, beautiful view, beautiful just conversations with people, and it's been very, very nice and relaxing. I did notice, though, when I've been with people a lot during the day, I will want to kind of pull back and retreat. Here I am on a retreat, and then, I'm around people the whole time, which is fine. You're just stepping out of your normal, programming and stuff, but I notice that I kind of need downtime that is not very mindful, if that makes sense. So coming back to the room and I'm alone and feeling like I would love to just kind of mindlessly scroll or watch a video or something like that, and not doing that kind of normal decompression type of activity, which admittedly sometimes can amp you up too. So, not always the best choice for trying to decompress, but it wasn't terrible or that hard or anything. But I just noticed that habit is sometimes harder to fill with something else that has the same, it has the same effect on you. And I think you just have to kind of push through some of maybe that discomfort. So I think it's been wonderful. I'm looking forward to this next week and just the next 2 weeks. And I kind of feel like I could go back to, not normal, but I could go back to things and it would be okay. But I definitely want to do the whole month. But it kind of makes me think maybe there'll be at least one day a week, maybe on Sunday or something like that, that I just really try to get off of my device and have a lot less screen time. I did not try to track my screen time this week, and I did in the very beginning. I was kind of paying attention to it, but then I noticed that there was something going on in the back of my mind where if somebody texted me and I was having kind of a texting conversation or even a phone call, in my mind I'm thinking, oh, this is going towards screen time. And I thought, well, that's very silly. We don't need to start disconnecting from people altogether to avoid screen time. It was a very subconscious thought. It wasn't like, I was intentionally trying to avoid it. And I think that to me, it's more of the time on apps that kind of suck me in and don't really connect me in real life type of connections. That is more of the screen time that I'm minimizing. And so even though my overall screen time, I know for sure it will be higher than it was that first week, that was okay. And I thought, I'm not even going to track it this week because I don't have apps on my phone that are social media oriented or suck me in. I have no news apps. I don't have YouTube. I don't have any of that stuff. So any screen time that I do see on my phone is going to be related to my Bible app, texting, phone calls, and some email, or editing and filming videos. So it didn't really make sense to me to try to keep tracking that. But since I saw after that first week of getting rid of all of those kind of quick dopamine sources, I had like a 89% reduction in screen time. It made me realize how much those things kind of can suck you in. And even though a lot of it is being like YouTube video or a podcast, I'm just hearing it in the background. It's not like I'm just sitting there not doing anything. It still is another level of distraction. And so just seeing that difference made a difference, I guess, for me. And so this week I've been happy to be in conversations with people, texting and all of that. And then moving forward, I will continue to kind of keep an eye on apps and things that are not necessarily feeding me. And I think that's really the point. It's like when I went through getting rid of alcohol, and I've said this a number of times, I don't know that that's going to be a forever thing. But when I realized it's really not serving me, and I had more things that made me not want to than want to, I was like, I don't want to just keep going along with it just because it's what everybody does. And same thing here with social media or the use of our phones and things like that. Just because everybody is on their phone all the time and it's kind of normal, I don't want to do that. If it's not serving me, then I want to shift. And I don't really need to have other people necessarily doing it too. It has helped having a couple of my friends do it, because I know that we kind of converse and have a mutual interest in why we're doing it. And I really value that. But to me, a lot of these decisions that we make that maybe could improve our lives, you might not have a lot of buy-in from other people, because not only people are not all ready at, they are not all ready for these changes at the same time that you might be. Maybe they don't find that it's a problem for them, or maybe it is a problem for them, but it's just so terribly addicting and there's nothing to like substitute in. And in that case, you know, I would say, I think we should all do some self-evaluation of the things that truly feed us, and then the things that are seeming to, you know, it's that junk food mentality. Yeah, it tastes good right now, but does it really feed us and sustain us and nurture us and all of that? And so just kind of keeping an eye on that. And you don't have to be, you know, black and white, it has to be all this way or all that way. But I think if you recognize that this might be seeping into too much of your life, step back, give yourself a clean slate and a fresh way of looking at it. And I think you can learn a lot. It's very valuable. So I look forward to seeing you at the end of week 3, and I will bring you along for a little bit of my daily smatterings of videos as I go through my week. So thanks for being here, and I hope you're living on fire.